Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello friends. Hello doll faces. Oh, that's the bingo wings right there. And it's Debsy, and the place to be, it's Debsy. Doo, 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 doo. That's me, boop, Debsy. I just poured myself a cup of iced coffee. And you know what that means. That means it's Tuesday, so last night I watched an abbreviated version of The Bachelorette. I got a lot of feelings about this. Language is going to be included in this. I should actually put a bib on because this is going to get messy. Let's jump into The Bachelorettes. Okay, so let's jump into it. We jumped in knee first, feet first into some bullshit. We jumped into the deep end of the bullshit pool. And in that pool was Hayden. Listen, I loved Hayden from the get-go. Hate him now. Screw you, Hayden. Hayden's never gonna see this. Screw you, Hayden. So Hayden starts talking about how he's calling the women bitches, and he was comparing Rachel to his ex, and they don't even live up to his ex, and how he doesn't trust them, and talking about how Gabby herself called herself rough around the edges. So why can't he? Now listen, if Gabby called herself rough around the edges, she didn't mean it in the way that he meant it. He meant it in a derogatory, put down way. And he also said, I don't understand how anybody would be here to want to marry either one of them. So there we go. It was on camera. So Jesse comes in, lets everybody know the girls have left already. They're on a plane for Paris. 2 lucky men are going to be joining them first, and then everybody else is going to leave afterwards. The 2 lucky men for Rachel, it's Tino, and for Gabby, it's Jason. Tino and Rachel go out on their date. Oh, they're eating chocolate, and she's feeding him chocolate-covered strawberries, and they're kissing in the rain. Listen, when I say I literally drooled and I lost my lunch, I was watching this at lunch, I was visibly drooling, and my lunch fell out of my mouth. So everything went perfectly with Tino. They had dinner in a church. It looked beautiful. I'm gonna tell you, listen, if it was me and it was Tino and they had that in a church, don't put that in a church. Things are gonna happen that should not happen in church. I'm just saying. Gabby and Jason, they had a real nice day walking around. She had said that she wants him to open up a little bit more. And they went out and they tried on berets. And then they went and they had their dinner. And Jason opened up a little bit, and he had said that when he was growing up, he never felt good enough. And he talked about how he had gotten a lot better through therapy. Gabby then talked about her issues with her mother and how therapy had helped her. They bonded over that. And let me just tell you the reason why I like Jason. First of all, he normalized therapy, which it should be normalized. If you need to talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. But when Gabby was telling him about her fractured relationship with her mother, he actually showed empathy and sympathy and looked like he cared. Whereas Eric, on last week's episode, he just froze and he didn't say anything. So I really liked this. I really loved this interaction between the two of them. Both of these, I was actually crying during theirs because I thought it was so organic and just so genuine. So both of the men got a rose. So we're going to Gabby's group date. Gabby's group date was boxing because it said, would you fight for love or something like that. So they show up and they're going through boxing and stuff like that. Rachel shows up with her men because they're going to have Gabby's men are going to have a boxing match, and the one who wins gets to go on a little date with Gabby. Rachel shows up, brings her men. Her men are there on the side watching their friends box it out. So this is the part that gets me a little upset. So she's sitting over there, and then the guys have to get in the ring and say something real nice to Gabby and romantical. And it's going really nice. And then Rachel is getting upset because her men that are there aren't even looking at her, aren't coming over and talking to her. She's upset because she is not getting the attention on Gabby's date. She showed up to Gabby's date and was upset when people weren't fawning over her. Listen. At the start of this season, I really liked Rachel. Rachel is getting on my nerves a little bit right now. So the date ends. Gabby picks her winner for that group date, and it was Spencer. So her and Spencer go, and they have a real nice time. They talk about, they bond over. Spencer, I believe, was in the military, and Gabby's family has military background, and they bonded over that. She gave Spencer her rose for that. Well, he had already gotten the rose, but he's in good. But then the thing that I did not like about that was, instead of spending more time on Gabby talking to Spencer, they had to then go to Rachel. Rachel's upset. Rachel's crying. I don't know if I can continue with this. I don't know if I can do this. And that's the thing. Every single season, the Bachelorette or the Bachelor cries about, I don't know if I can do this. I can't do this anymore. Well, Rachel says that almost every week. I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. What did you think was going to happen? So she goes over and talks to the men. And says, listen, you hurt my feelings. No one even paid any attention to me. I feel like, no one even, wants to be here for me, and blah, 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 and this and that. So fast forward to the next day. Next day, group date for Rachel. This was, every week that I say that a group date was weird, the next week comes and says, hold my beer, I'm gonna be even weirder. So for Rachel, her and her group of men walked in on a French couple kissing. Just straight up kissing. They didn't even stop. And then all of a sudden they said, oh, I did not even see that you were there. So they then proceed to tell them that they're going to be a flirting contest. Okay, so first of all, the guys have to flirt with Rachel. I'm gonna throw up a picture somewhere in here of, I think it was Zach. He went in and was trying to dance with her, and then he put his arm like here, and she was like, what are you doing? He's like, dancing, and honestly, she's like, oh, I thought you were it looked like he was strangling her. So the producers did him dirty, and I'll put it right in here, and they put the Le Havre Strangler. So there's that. Then they had to French kiss their fists. And then the guys had to take their shirts off, and Rachel was blindfolded, and she had to wait. She had to do this. She had to smell their armpits. Yes, that is a show I watch. She was still better than the day I had yesterday. She smelled their armpits. So there's that. And then they had to write a poem or a letter for Rachel. And Tyler, Tyler wrote a real nice one the night before, and so he got the rose for that one. Logan, however, I told you, Logan is going to be a problem. Logan walked away saying that he was thinking about Gabby. Told you, it's going to be a problem. So then Logan goes and talks to Jesse while they're cutting back and forth with Rachel talking to Tyler. And that was a very nice, that was a real nice date. They went in the hot tub. I like that. But Logan talked to Jesse about, if you don't know, Jesse Palmer, who is the host, and fun fact, Jesse Palmer, who used to play in the NFL, he was actually the Bachelor for a season. So there we go. He was talking to Jesse about his connection to Gabby, says he needs to talk to Gabby. Now listen, why? Why, if you thought that you had a connection with Gabby, would you take a rose last week from Rachel? Why? And even Jesse said that. He said, well, you know that you accepted a rose from Rachel last week, committing to her. Okay, next let's move on to the big number one douchebag of the week. I hate to say this, but number one douchebag of the week goes to Hayden. So Hayden sits down and is talking with Rachel, pulls out his book, his little book that he has about his dog, Rambo. Beautiful dog. And is talking about him, and then lets her know that he was diagnosed with cancer. And if he didn't have chemo, he would have to do this, but if he does, then he could live longer. Well, how long does he have? He has a couple months. Well, if he has a couple months, why are you here? Why are you on this show? If Jack had cancer, I wouldn't go nowhere. My ass would be here. And he doubled down and ended up bringing his dog's favorite toy that he would take to like his cancer treatments. He took it. So this dog doesn't have his owner and doesn't have his damn favorite toy. Get out of here. So then Tino comes up and asks to talk to Rachel, and Rachel says, thank you so much for telling me about that, hugs him, and then gets up. Well, he's pissed that she didn't say more. So he goes over, he's talking to the guys, saying about how she just got up, and she got up quicker than she sat down, and blah, 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 this and that. So Meatball, Meatball was taken back. Meatball goes over, tells Rachel everything that he said at the start of the show on camera. So she goes up, talks to Hayden, and she says, do you know why I'm here? Oh yeah, you want to talk about the dog? She's like, what? I want to talk about the dog. I want to talk about what you said. You said all this stuff. He said, I didn't say that. No, I didn't. You know this is a TV. Now listen, I'm saying this. You know this is a TV show. You know stuff is being recorded. It's on camera. So she was like, listen, I'll believe you. You're gone. Can I walk you out? Walked out. He's gone. So here comes the ceremony. Everybody that is given a rose accepts. Everybody. Now listen, Rachel offered Logan a rose. Rachel. And he accepted. Knowing fully well that he is there for Gabby. And he accepts, and he says he feels like the bad guy. You should. Listen, he accepted it, and he is going to try and talk to Gabby and see what she thinks. So we shall see next week. But I'm going to tell you that he better be walking the plank just like Hayden did. I'm pissed. I'm messy, and it's messy. Please, if you watched it, let me know what you thought. And also, if nobody's told you yet today, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure to put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there because we all need it. Don't be like Hayden. And everybody have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.